So let's get right into it. I want to do more on, since we are moving into these times that into this timeline that basically has been indicated by the prophecy. One thing you have to understand: these prophecies wouldn't make sense 100 years ago. All right, why? Because the state of Israel didn't exist until 1948. So prior to 1948, a lot of what I'm going to say wouldn't really make sense, right? But now, with the amount of power that these people and these persons have amassed, it makes perfect sense. Now, I don't want. I got a lot to do on this. A lot that I want to roll out a material on this, but I'm gonna try to do it in pieces because I don't really want to do. I don't really like doing 45-minute or hour uh, pieces, and I did a piece. It's about an hour, but I'm gonna try. I know that people have short attention spans, so I'm gonna try to break down some of what I said in that and into smaller chunks. That way, it's more palatable to people with short attention spans. Now, as I indicated, my in my analysis, this man is the Antichrist. Now, I don't think that's a big jump to make that analysis and to make that call. And I said, if it's not him, this guy's got to be second to the Antichrist. But I'm gonna say it's him, right? Now, why is that an easy call? Well, one, we all know that these people are anti-Christian. You see, by definition, this is not a slander or whatever. We know they are anti-Christian, but you're not allowed to say that. So by their nature, they are antichrist. You see, by their very the Judeo-Christian really is an antichrist, satanic organization and group. It's a Nazi, fascist, um, satanic, uh, anti-Christian organization. Now, so, but I don't want to go too deep down that road. Now, but what I want to do is I want to try to keep this short as possible. I want to jump into, for instance, this scripture here, where this prophecy, Revelations 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet and know that I have loved you. Now, what is this prophecy telling you, right? It's telling you that there was going to be a people. The man who see, this is what's significant about Revelation 3:9 is a couple of things, right? It wouldn't have been significant really prior to probably 1948 as it is, like, and now moving forward as it would have been 100 years prior to that. But also what's significant about that is um, the fact that we have to understand that John of Patmos was a Jew. That's what I wanted to say. John of Patmos, who wrote this, was a Jew. You see, would have been considered a Jew from the tribe. Would have been considered somebody from the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? I don't think anybody would dispute me on that. Who John, and that's why he's in these books. That John is an Israelite. Right? Now, and I believe John was in prison because of who he was, right, and what he was saying. And so nobody will argue with me that John wasn't from the 12 tribes. Now, he would have been considered a Jew, right? Um, Now, but what did John say? He said there would be people calling themselves Jews but are not and would lie. You see, but they will be brought down. You see, that's significant for a Jewish man, somebody who would be considered by modern terms a Jew. If John of Patmos was alive today, the man who supposedly wrote Revelations 3:9, he would be considered a Jew, right? He wrote that there would come a group of people. You see, so this is before the state of Israel. This is before modern so-called Judeo-Christians. You have to understand that the context in which this was written. And he said there would come people after him that wouldn't be from his group of people, that would claim were from the 12 tribes, but they were not, and they would lie, and they would be working with Satan. They would be the children of Satan, the house of Satan, the synagogue of Satan. But he said they would be brought down. Well, who is saying that they are Jews today? Well, that would be the people in Israel, the white European Caucasians who are running an apartheid state against the real Semites, the Palestinians, and the other people, so-called Ethiopian Jews and other, you know, uh, people in Palestine today, right? They call themselves Jews, but they obviously are not. They are liars, and they are of the synagogue. Obviously, these are the people that John was warning about. So John would be considered a relevant prophet. Why? Because what he wrote came true in 1948 in a huge way, and it is obviously a huge end time prophecy. Okay? I don't think I have to really beat that horse to death, right? The points that John was making, and that how relevant that is right now, and that it is a end time prophecy. Is a prophecy for the time that we in now, and it wouldn't have been relevant prior to not necessarily the 1948 or 1910. You see, but it has now unfolded because now you have these people who obviously are not Semites claiming to be Semites and calling Semites anti-Semite. You see, like me, I would be considered a Semite because of my racial background. But because of what I'm saying, these Euro Jews would call me an anti-Semite, and they would say that they are Semites, even though they have no Afro-Asiatic DNA whatsoever. Hopefully that makes sense. So John was trying to warn you about these people. Now let's go quickly over here to the book of Matthew, right? Let's talk about Matthew for a minute. Matthew is, if you don't know, so-called Jesus Christ, the Matthew is quotes by him and prophecies by him. Now he gave a prophecy, right? He gave a prophecy. So let's talk about very quickly. I want to keep this short as possible because I'm gonna do pieces, but I'm gonna try to keep them broken down in the shorter segments. Um, in Matthew 13, and I think I've covered this before, is also a reference to these people. He said, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in the field. But while this man slept, an enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and then left and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, and appeared the tares also. So first you have to understand, what is a tare? A tare is a weed that is non-nutritious that looks like wheat. Do you understand? So these are two things that look identical, but one of them is bad for you. And wheat, of course, is a food we make bread out of, right? Obviously, right? But a tare is not wheat. It looks like wheat, but it's not, right? So he goes on to say, and you had to ask yourself, he was trying to explain something extremely complicated. Well, not extremely complicated, but something that was going to be complicated, that was going to happen in a way that you would understand it, right? So he goes on to say, so the servants of the household that came in and said, Sir, didst thou sow good seed in the field? From whence then hath it tares? Right? He said unto them, an enemy has done this. So Christ is saying an enemy came and he put something among you that looks like you, but is not you. Do you get it? He put something in the midst of man that looks like man, but is not a human. It's not an actual human. It's not from the 12 tribes, the original bloodlines of the earth. That's what he was telling you, right? An enemy has done this, right? Now, who could do something like that? Could a normal man do that? No, this is the work of the Antichrist. The Antichrist is the enemy. Satan is the enemy, right? And obviously, you would have to have very high technology to bioengineer something that looks like a human, but is not 100% human, right? We're talking about cloning, things like that. High levels of biotechnology, advanced levels of biotech, right? Now, he said, Nay, so the servant said, Wilt thou then we go and gather them up? So he said, Should we pull the tares out right now? And he said, Nay, let's, while ye gather the tares, ye root up also. So he didn't want, he said, Listen, there's something going on here, right? And basically, whoops, he said, Something's going on here, and there's a plan. And I don't want you to go after the tares right now. You see? That's what Christ is telling them. I don't want you to go after them right now, right? He said, there's an appointed time because you'll root up also the wheat. You would destroy everything. Let them both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, bind them up in bundles, and burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn. So who is the wheat and who is the tares? Well, the tares, obviously, are the synagogue of Satan, right? It's obviously Revelations in 2 and 9, what John was talking about. You see? The seed of the Antichrist, the synagogue of Satan. You understand? And that's what Christ was talking about. So John talked about it. See, they say the Bible is full of contradictions. There is none. That is a lie. That is deception, a great deception. Revelations does not contradict Matthew. Matthew does not contradict Revelations. These two books confirm each other. It's a story, and it's chronological, and it's in order, and it confirms each other, right? So here he's telling you a story. He's trying to put forth a story to you, right? Not a story, but events that are going to take place. And he said, we can't, I don't want to, basically I don't want to blow up the fucking planet right now. Let's let this thing go on. And he said, because eventually I'm going to separate them. See, so he, there is no diversity, equity, and inclusion. He said, I'm going to separate them. And the tares, the false wheat, I'm going to gather up, separate it, and burn it. You see? But the wheat, I'm going to gather into my barn. You see? And he says, go up a little bit more. And he says, he goes on to say, the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and become a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. You see him? And so he kept giving these parables. He was trying to tell you something, right? Now, I want to skip down. He says, I will open my mouth in parables, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophets. He said, all these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them. So they said, Christ, this man, always, this prophet, always spoke, this holy man, in parables. That it might, and so he said, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. So this is very important. What he's telling you is, I'm using these parables to reveal secrets to you. The secret of the tares and the wheat is a secret. It's Satan, is a satanic secret that he's revealing to you. That of what has been, something that very old, thousands of years, hundreds, if not thousands of years old that has happened, that he's revealing to you about these tares being mixed with the wheat. Then Jesus sent the multitude away and went into the house. And his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. My God, there it is right there. Right? Now this is the words of Christ. He was revealing, he said, what I'm telling you in Matthew 13 is a secret. Right? I'm explaining to you a secret of what has happened on the earth. And the disciples, they wanted more information. They said, Lord, they said, tell us, right? Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. Explain it more to us, right? And what did he tell them? He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. You see? What is the Son of Man? Son of Man is another word for the Messiah, right? But also what he's saying as the Son of Man, right, is the heritage of man, you see? That which is of the organic human race, the organic bloodlines of the earth is the Son of Man. He said, that which soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. You see? Is that which pertaineth to the bloodline of the man, the bloodline of the 12 tribes. You see? And then he goes on to say, the field is the world. He tells you, I mean, you don't have to interpret that. Christ, the one mistakenly called the Lord of hosts, Christ said, the world is the field in the parable. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. Who are the children of the kingdom? Well, that would be the children of the 12 tribes of Jacob, of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, right? And he said, but the tares are the children of the wicked. Who are the children of the wicked? Well, that would be the synagogue of Satan in 3 and 9, and that would be these people. Do you understand? Do you see any contradiction there? Any confusion? Do you understand that the timeline? 1948, 1910, Balfour Agreement, 1948. Do you understand what Christ was trying to tell you hundreds, if not, centuries before that, what was going to happen? You see, John was trying to tell you the same thing that Christ was. This is that the children of the wicked, you see, was going to usurp the name of the 12 tribes, right? And he said, but these tares are the children of the wicked one. These are people that he says, I'm going to burn them. I'm going to separate them from the people, the real people, my people, from the children, the organic bloodlines of the earth. The inorganic ones have to be separated and burned and destroyed. He didn't say I was going to love them. He didn't say Jesus saves everybody. Where is that written at? That's not written right here. He clearly says, I'm going to burn them. And he says, the enemy that sowed them is the devil. So he said, they are the children of the wicked, and the enemy is that sowed them, their father is the devil. Revelations 3 and 9. The synagogue of Satan, the children of Satan. That would be these people, and that would be the Antichrist. Or one of his children. You see? It's right there. In Matthew 13 and 24, and 3 and 9. They say the same thing. They're not deviating from each other, right? And he explains very clearly that these are the children of the devil, the children of the wicked one, and their father is the devil who has sowed them. He said, but the harvest is in the end of the world. That's the time we're in now. The harvest is about to happen. And the reapers are the angels. See, the reapers, the soldiers, I told you, it's right here. I'm not making anything up. I'm just reading out the Bible, right? I'm just reading the prophecies and breaking them down for you, right? But I mean, do I have to break this down? I mean, a 6-year-old can understand this. He said, the reapers, the soldiers, are also called the angels, and therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire. The tares shall be gathered up and burned in the fire in the end. The end is now. This is very shortly approaching, right now. This is what's unfolding, you see. He says, and so it shall be in the end of this world. This is the end times. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, the Lord of hosts, also called a Son of Man. And it's not the Son of Man, a Son of Man. That's a bad translation. It's a Son of Man, right? Meaning from the bloodline, right? Organic bloodlines of the earth. A Son of Man shall send forth his angels, his soldiers, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. This man is offensive. This man does iniquity. This man up in here, Joe Biden right there with him, does iniquity and is offensive to the Most High. Why do I know? Because it says this right here, right? And he said that the soldiers are coming for them. The Son of Man, a Son of Man, the Lord of hosts, the Messiah, shall send forth his soldiers, the angels, and they shall gather out of the kingdom. He shall take over the earth, and this shall be his kingdom. All things that offend, and them which do iniquity. The synagogue of Satan does iniquity. Do you understand? Is that complicated? Right? It says it right here. And he says, and he shall cast them into a furnace of fire, and there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. And then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who have ears to hear this, let him hear. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hid in the field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who when he had found one pearl of a great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea, and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore, and sat down and gathered the good into the vessels, but cast the bad away. And on that, I'm not going to go too much further. I want to wrap that up. So I think that says it all, right? So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it right there. I didn't want to make this too long, but I'm going to do more on that. But when you say certain things, I think you need to back them up, right? When you say, like, this man is the Antichrist, right? Who leads the synagogue of Satan. I think, like, if you're going to make great claims require great proof. And I'm not saying that Revelations and Matthew is great proof. What I'm saying is it's anecdotal. Now, everything else that has happened would be considered proof. 1948, what's happened, the slaughter and the genocide and the land theft and the colonizations that is taking place now, right? It's not just these prophecies written by so-called Jesus Christ and John of Patmos, but it's the events that are taking place, right, in 1948, 1910, today in Palestine. You see, there was never supposed to be a state of Israel in 1948. This is all the work of the wicked, as it says right here in Matthew, right? It said this is the work of the evil ones. You see? It says it right here. Right? this is the work of the devil. He said that this is the wicked ones. These are the wicked ones. And this is, it says it right here, right? They're the children of the wicked one. And the enemy that sowed them is the devil. These, it says it right in Matthew. Benjamin Netanyahu is the children, and him and his people are the children of the wicked one. And their father who sowed them, a man soweth the seed, right? Put the seed in a woman. Who sowed them is the devil, Satan, the Antichrist. You understand? You see? The synagogue of Satan, Revelations 2:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie, right? I will bring them down. You see? That says it, and that is confirmed by Matthew, which is also the words of Christ. These are the children of the Antichrist that have taken over the earth. That's why the Bible said the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Matthew says the same thing, right? That these are the wicked of the earth that have taken over the earth. You see? So, you know what? I'm going to leave that right there, though, right? And so I'm going to come back and do some more on this, right? Because, yeah, I mean, these are the end times that we're in now. And I think that it's very easy to see, like, you know, where we at in the timeline. So I'm going to just kind of, you know, break it down into small chunks and not do long pieces where people can get an idea. You can get a better understanding if I can small chunk it. You can get a better understanding of what I'm saying, what I'm telling you. And then you can do your own research, you know, a little bit at a time and say, oh, okay, you can kind of put it together. But if I give you too much at one time, you're not going to be able to digest it. So for now, that's all I got.